Everyone, it's me, Alyan Fiverrwala, and today we are with very special guest, Mr. Chris. Mr. Chris is a dynamic professional in the world of aviation sales, character service, and e-commerce execution. As a true connector and system expert, Mr. Chris excel in bring together various elements of aviation industry to drive success and innovation. His entrepreneurial spirit shines in the tech world, where he leveraged cutting edge technologies to revolutionize the way we think about air travel and online commerce. His expertise and passion for aviation and technology make him a standout figure out in the industry. So, hello, sir. How are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Okay, so first of all, I'm very thankful to you to giving me a precious and valuable time for the interview. Thank you so much for coming, sir.
Yep, not a problem.
Okay, thank you. So before moving on the question, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Chris Cota, also known as Rich Nerd. Live out here in Atlanta, Georgia. Been an entrepreneur for the past 15 plus years. Been in aviation charter, sales, luxury brokering, digital media marketing, pretty much all around problem solver. So people come to me or businesses will come to me with a problem, and I figure out a way to solve it either by connecting them to the right person or building a system around it.
That's great. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. So my first question in your screen, career journey. Can you share your journey into the aviation and sales character industry, and how did you interest in this field develop?
Yeah, actually, it started about 10 years ago where I was starting to learn the art of SEO and mastering SEO and doing things on websites like Fiverr and things of that nature. And I mastered SEO and I came up with an idea with another partner of mine, and we're going to dominate the private charter here in Atlanta. And I made us number one for private jet charter in Atlanta for 10 plus years. That started creating phone calls, emails, people submitting their requests for charter. Then we created strategic alliances with facilitation companies to actually handle the charter. We'd build a system completely behind it to be able to handle the booking intake and send it to the dispatch department, and then kind of go from there and then keep tweaking and tweaking until it became perfect. That went well for a while, but when you end up in different facilitations or joint ventures, you also have bad actors. So we had some partners that just weren't paying us out and things of that nature. So I'd constantly be having to find new facilitators. But that's part of the game.
That's great. Thank you so much for this answer. So my next question is industry evolution. How have you seen the aviation sales industry evolve in the advent of
Yes, sir.
technologies?
All right. So this is a funny one. Aviation sales has evolved because of social media, but it's also evolved into a big time suck. I can't count the hundreds of different brokering calls I've been on attempting to sell a plane for a client, and then there's too many brokers in between the broker chain. So trying to get to the main principles has always been a very difficult challenge because people don't understand the business model. I've actually put together a complete online course about this to be able to understand if you want to look like a legitimate broker or businessman, you have to put certain steps in order. I got on so many calls. People didn't even know what an NDA was. I'm like, oh my gosh. So there's no way you're going to know what an escrow is, a CIS, a KYC, all these other documents that come into play. So that is something that has evolved way too fast, and people are trying to jump into being a luxury broker without any business experience.
All right, sir. So, challenges and solution. What are some of the biggest challenges you have faced in aviation sales, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, just like what I just spoke about, where too many brokers are attempting to sell things that they have no knowledge of being able to conduct even normal business. So, just getting on calls and people, yeah, I got this plane for sale. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, let me get you to the buyer. I like to connect principal to principal and get out of the way. Just listen to the call, oversee it, principal to principal. And let me connect you with the buyer. But first, I need this. And they're like, well, what's that? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So they don't know what a seller's mandate is. They don't know what a buyer's order is. They didn't know what. So it became pretty crazy. And it's like chasing unicorns at this point, trying to find the right partners that actually, okay, yeah, I got this plane for sale. I am the mandate. I'm the controller. I'm the one that sends the escrow. Perfect. You're the principal. All right. Here's my buyer, and then connect the dots. But to get to that point was is torture in certain conversations because you just don't know who's who when you get in these conversations.
All right, sir. So, e-commerce integration. How does e-commerce integrate into aviation sales and character service, and what innovation have you introduced or observed?
Oh, it really doesn't integrate very well because when you're dealing with sales of this nature or even private jet chartering, a charter from LA to Atlanta could be like $40,000. There's no way in hell, or sorry, there's no way anyone would want to take a credit card charge on something like that because of fraud and chargebacks and things of that nature. So these kind of big magnitude deals have to be um, done by wire or escrows or things of that nature.
All right. So, entrepreneurial lesson as a tech entrepreneur, what key lesson have you learned that have been pivotal to your success?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what I have learned is systems make you rich. If you don't have a system put in place, then you're going to more than likely fail because you can't keep up with things, especially if you're trying to create volume, right? That's why I created Rich Nerd, my stage name when I go speak or out and about and talking about tech stuff is Rich Nerd. And the concept behind that is you need a nerd to help you become rich. Otherwise, you're going to bang your head on the table like, oh my gosh, I got all these people, leads, and I don't know what to do with them. I can't close them. And there's no systematic process put in place. And you must put a systematic process in place.
All right. So, technology impact. How has your technology transformed the way aviation sales and character operate?
Ah, and again, it goes straight into systems. So when I realized what was going on in, for example, the aviation charter world, I figured out how to put SEO into play, make a system, put automation. Someone fills out a form. All right, I make that form go to three different people, two people on my team, dispatch team. As soon as I see the charter come in, I immediately, hey, did you see that charter come in? All right, let me know as soon as you get a quote on that, and then just systemize it, and then I'll train someone else to become me, and so on and so on. And so that leads me into the next piece of all that is you must also have a team. Teams help you become stronger. When you try to do everything by yourself, you're going to fail. If you're trying to do everything by yourself, you're going to fail. You have to put a team in place. And a really good book that goes along with this is called The Entrepreneur's Roller Coaster. That's a really good book for anyone starting out in business to read.
That's great. So, customer experience, in your experience, how important is customer experience in the aviation industry, and how do you ensure excellence?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Customer service is very important in the aviation industry because you're serving a wealthy, affluent person. There's a lot of egos that go there. There's a lot of people that have attitudes. There's all this stuff, but you have to put up a wall. Just serve them, get them what they need. If they can take care of their payment, great. If not, tell them go kick rocks. Like, I can't help you. I'm not, if you don't want to play ball properly, at least by our business process or structure, go find another charter. Go find another aircraft sales agent. Go find, you got to put that fine line and just have no emotion. Business has no emotion. If you have emotion in business, chances are you're going to create a conflict and you're going to end up in an argument, and it's going to be completely pointless. And it's just, there's no point in it. I keep the biggest emotionless piece in business. I'm friendly, but keep it emotionless. Nothing bothers me. You can call me all the names in the world. Be like, oh, okay, cool. If that's what you feel like, that's fine. I don't really care.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
So, execution strategies, what strategies do you employ for successful e-commerce execution?
Oh, easy. Okay. So 100% digital media ad campaign strategy. You got to figure out how much you can spend and get what back. I've helped several clients spending anywhere from $5 a day on Facebook and Instagram, for example, to $100,000 a day, even more. But these are just numbers a lot of people just can't comprehend. And then you could figure out, once you hit the sweet spot in an ad campaign, of what you're trying to sell or what you're trying to push, if it's generating leads, if it's e-commerce, it's the same concept. It's all about the KPIs. How many people go here? How many people add to cart, for example? How many people go to the checkout? How many people purchase? And just do your law of numbers backwards. And okay, we got 10 purchases. We made $3,000. We spent $200 today. Great. You made a profit. So now if you want 100 purchases, you could scale that up 15%, 20% a day systematically to get to your real goal. And then now I call that printing money. Oh, I think you froze.
Okay. So, sir, my next question is sustainability in aviation. What are your thoughts on sustainability in aviation, and how do you incorporate into your business model?
Yep. Aviation's not going anywhere ever. There's no way possible that it will. There's too many things, unless we have an energy blackout and or some sort of fuel crisis where there's no fuel. That's the only way aviation's going to kind of have a problem. Um, so when you go into those scenarios, how do you incorporate it into your business model? Um, Again, for a charter company or for an aircraft sales agent or a luxury broker, you've got to put a system into place, and you have to understand the system and put a team into place to be able to service these high level clients, these high level deals. Because if your chances are you're going to be working on 5 or 10 at the same time, you can't do all that by yourself. You got to have a team that you can trust, and that's the other part. You've got to make sure the people that are around you can trust. They're as good as you or better than you at what you do. Um, Otherwise, if you're always the smartest one in the room, that's not a good thing. You never want to be the smartest one in the room. You want to be around people that are smarter than you, so you can absorb. They say your top 6 people that you talk to or hang out with or associate with, you'll be the seventh. So if you're around a bunch of broke people or losers, no offense, but people that just aren't making it in life, you're going to end up attracting those qualities to you. But if you're around a bunch of millionaires and billionaires or plane owners or owners of Fortune 500 companies or CEOs, you're going to end up in that level as well. So you've also got to learn to pivot. When I'm speaking on podcasts or out and about at like events or something, depending on the event, I dress like this. If I go to high level events, I'm in more of a suit type structure. I still wear tennis shoes, but I have my own style for different reasons because I want people to uh, like I usually wear a red hat when I go to a certain event, for example, and people are like, "Oh yeah, go find the red hat guy." So make sure you stand out. Don't look like everyone else because then you you just start to blend in. You don't really want to blend in. You want to stand out a little bit, but not too much.
All right. So, my next question is leadership philosophy. How would you describe your leadership style and how has it evolved over your career?
Ah, so there's a leader and there's a dictator. Leader actually does things that a dictator will not. For example, I don't sit in a chair and crack a whip and say you do this and you do that and you do this and get real mad and angry. I operate as a team player, a unit. Someone's having a problem with something on the team, I ask them like, hey, what do you need? How can I help you? Like, how can I help make your life easy? Well, I'm doing this, I'm sending too many emails, this is taking too much time. I'm like, all right, let's write it down. I'm going to build this into a system and I'm going to make it easy for you to be able to handle this. And then we'll move on to the next problem. Always ask your people, what are the top 5 things that you're struggling with right now? If you can always try to improve that, those small things, you're going to end up being amazingly successful in any business, any business.
Wonderful, sir. So, market trends. What current trends are you observing in the aviation sales market, and how are you responding to them?
Ah, again, this goes into there's too many brokers out there trying to push the same kind of airplane, the same aircraft. I can't tell you how many times I've had people send me the same airplane for sale that I'm already working on for a buyer or for a seller. And I keep getting that in my inbox like, hey, I got this plane for sale. I'm like, well, I'm already working on this one. Like, I don't, how is this going around all over the place? So that's why there's a term in the luxury brokering industry called off market. Means it hasn't hit the internet, or 120,000 different brokers don't have that content. It's got to be low key, under the radar. That's how deals get done smooth. Otherwise, you got stuff flying over here, and this guy offered me this, and well, he said I could get it for this, and no, it's not how it works. Not how business works. There has to be a structure in place. Like, you go buy a house, there's a structure you follow. You've got to do this procedure to get the house, and it's the same every time. No one's really created that in the aviation industry. So it's like the wild, wild west.
All right. Tech innovations. Can you discuss any recent technological innovation that have significantly impact your business?
Absolutely. The growth and the use of SMS marketing and automation and email marketing and things of that nature. Like, you can have a system in place, but if you don't have a system in place where you could put in the lead info or put in the client's info, let's say someone needs to schedule a call with me, for example. You go through my scheduling button, you pick your date and time, you're going to get notified, and I hammer you. I notify you a lot. You're going to get about 8 notifications in between that time of that meeting so you don't miss it. Like, I have a 99% show up rate. If you miss coming to my meeting, something's wrong or there's really a problem. Because you'll get about 5 emails, 5 SMSs. A lot of people are like, that's overboard. But out of all my clients I've worked with, maybe 1% have an issue with it. Everyone else is like, they don't care, but they're never late to their meetings. Never.
All right. So management. How do you manage risk in your business, particularly in aviation sales? Character?
Ah, so you always have to have risk management in place. For example, legal. So if it's a legal document needed, I don't write it. I have an attorney friend write it, or someone on the team like take care of the legal stuff. I don't deal with any of that. Like I let the professionals handle it. I'll give my input when needed, but you got to have certain pretty much, I guess you'll call it, departments in place. You have your finance department, you have your legal department, you have your sales department, and you have your tech department. You got to have departments and compartmentalize things, and know when to step out of the way. Be like, all right, we're to this point. Yeah, they need the legal the legal document signed, created and set up, and then we need to get the escrows moving, and get all that going to a different process. And I just kind of hand it and let them handle it. They let me know if there's a problem. I'll come back in. We'll address it as a team, not just a me. Like you have to go after everything as a team, because that's the only way to win and make you got to make people feel like they're part of something.
All right, sir. So, future vision. Where do you see the future of aviation sales and cater heading in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, there's going to be an evolution, and I believe in mobile apps, technology, things to make things easier. I mean, look at the best example of any business model that's super successful. Look at Uber. Uber just blew up the industry with one app, and it's the largest transportation, taxi, um, uh, rental car company, anything that moves a vehicle. They're the most successful, and they own zero cars.
All right. So, personal inspiration. Who or what has been your biggest inspiration in your professional journey? Sorry.
I mean, a lot of the greats. I mean, I've worked with people like Grant Cardone. I've worked with people in that statute. One person I really look up to is Marcus Lemonis. He calls himself the prophet here in the U.S. He goes into failing businesses and fixes them, figures out what systems need to be put in place. That's exactly how my brain works. And once I realized that, I kind of latched on and backwards analyzed how I'm going to move based off of that. But then I also learned that we actually have the same birthday, not the year, but the same birthday. So we're very similar in how our minds and how our spiritual movements create our thoughts, for example. Because he's a Scorpio, I'm a Scorpio. He's November 16th, I'm November 16th. And it's not all about, hey, you're a Scorpio, this is how you are. But I use astrology and things of that nature as kind of a diagnosis tool when I figure out like kind of what something's weird or something's not right. Once I understand like who that person is, then I know why certain things are happening. I can understand, okay, I got to move a little bit differently or talk to them a little bit differently, because certain things might really get affect them that it doesn't affect me or someone else. So I use a lot of these things in you know just making sure people. It's all about having fun, having success, and just trying to make sure everyone's happy and enjoying what they do. Otherwise, it's gonna be miserable.
Okay, so my last question is
Mhm.
success metrics. How do you measure success in your venture, both in terms of business and personal achievements?
Well, you got to have your monthly goals, and you got to have your yearly goals and daily goals. So, you know, um, when I first started out in the internet world, it was on Fiverr, and it was making, and that was back when Fiverr was $5 gigs. So me and my other partner, we were the first ones to ever make 100,000 on Fiverr from $5 gigs. Now you can make way more money on Fiverr. I still do pretty well on Fiverr. And so that platform is still useful to me to this day. I have about 3,000 5-star reviews plus. So anyone that comes to any of my gigs, there's no questions. They don't question, well, do you really know how to do this? I don't get those questions because they look at my reviews and they're like, oh, okay, he knows what he's doing. But yet Fiverr won't make me a pro, but it is what it is. There's a whole backstory behind that. I won't get into it on this.
Oh, that's great. So, thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time for the interview. Again, thank you so much for giving me your precious time for the interview. Thank you so much, sir.
Yep.